Crash 65 northbound between Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Long Hollow Pike. Crash at Antioch. It's an overturned vehicle. Right lane block 24 eastbound near Haywood Lane. Then you got pothole work. Right lane block 24 eastbound in Jolton. And then in South Nashville, TDOT still reporting a crash 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. My name is Matt Murphy, and I'm not happy about it. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hope everyone's doing better than me.
Man, I'm sorry about that, Brother Murphy.
Hey, it's going to be okay, Ken Weaver. If this is the worst thing I have to deal with this day, this week, this month, this year, it's going to be a pretty good day, week, month, year. Although I did tell Chris Webber earlier today that if there's a hell, I'm probably going. And if I go, what I experienced over the course of the last 4 hours will be it. That I will be in perpetual hell attempting to recover my Facebook page. Which is harder than recovering my bank account.
Seems like it, yeah. Man.
It's been an incredible thing. I'm going to tell you guys about it after I wish you well. I wish all of you well and say hello to my man Chris, my man Ken, and find out how you guys are doing. How's it going?
I'm better than you.
Oh, it's all good.
Not locked out of my accounts yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Well, just wait, apparently. We'll figure. I mean, look, if I have to pay hackers in other accounts, y'all are going to be the first two that I jump on. There's Ken Weaver back there in the newsroom gathering headlines as we speak and being suspiciously quiet about all of this.
Well, I've got something going on with my ESPN app.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah, but not quite. I mean, not near the trouble you're having, but it's still annoying.
This is incredible. I don't know what the end game is. I mean, if they want a couple of $100, they can have it at this point just to release my crap, and I promise never to use similar passwords again in my life. Yeah, it's been an interesting thing. So let me tell you all about it. So all of this started with I noticed. So 2 days ago, and I only relate this to you not because, well, I relate it to you, one, because it's my show, and two, because I think people can relate to this. I mean, apparently it's happening all over. Chad Benson, did you hear Chad? Chad just said that he's been dealing with his professional page being hacked for 6 months.
Wow.
Same deal. Because they get in there. If they figure out the password, they get the password, they go in there, and then they get your number. The next stage is to get the phone number changed. Because if they can get the phone number changed, then all that two-factor crap goes out of the window.
Yeah.
Phone number gets changed, then the email gets changed, so you don't get email reports anymore, and then you're hosed. You're just completely hosed. So 2 nights ago, I get a notice that, hey, somebody's checking in Seattle, Washington on your Facebook page. And I'm like, well, I probably should change my password to my Facebook page. And I thought that I did that, and I thought that I changed it. Well, the next morning, my Netflix thing alerted me, hey, somebody's changed your password on your Netflix. And I said, okay, this might, be a little brush fire here that I have to put out. And so I tried to put it out with the Netflix people, and I told that story. I won't belabor it, but the Netflix people said, well, we need your password. We need your password to verify your account. Well, my password's been changed. I don't know what it is anymore. Well, we need your email. Well, the email has been changed. I don't have the email anymore. You know the original email. You looked up my account based on the original email, but you can't verify it that way? No, we can't do that anymore because it's been changed. We'll need your, what was the other, telephone number. Well, the telephone number had been changed. And so the only thing that she could use to verify my account was my credit card number, and that wasn't good enough for her because I used an American Express, and it only has 15 digits. So I said, why don't you just cancel this damn account, lady? And she did. And I felt good about it until this morning.
Oh, boy.
So I brought the list. This is not a complete list because there's been an ad or two. This is what I did this morning. And I'm communicating with all these people.
Yeah.
Amazon, Sam's Club, Instagram, Google, Microsoft, Spotify, Disney Plus, Xfinity, Discord, LinkedIn, ESPN Plus, Hulu.
Wow.
My bank, which will go unnamed, and my credit card companies, which will go unnamed. I had to change the passwords on all of them. Now, some of them have not been compromised, such as my money situation.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. But I feel like that was coming, right?
I would think so, yeah.
You would think so. That's the whole point. So I changed all of these accounts, and everything's fine. And all of these accounts, we've got new passwords. We got a little password manager now, like Chris Webber advised.
Very good.
And so all is right with the world, figured all of that out. Old man Murphy got that far in the process. And then came Facebook. I don't know. Y'all tell me. I don't know what my Facebook looks like right now if you go on it. I could be selling any number. I mean, seriously, I've not had a third party attempt to. It's locked. I know that. So I go on the Facebook and I tell them that my account has been hacked. And they say, well, we need to verify your account. Start with your password. Well, I don't know my password anymore because they've changed my password. Okay, well, let's get a telephone number for you. I give them the telephone number, and they say, well, that's not the telephone number associated with this account anymore. And I say, that's what I'm trying to tell you. My account has been hacked. Well, send us the email associated with the account, and we'll roll back over, and we'll get it solved. Okay, sounds good to me. So I send them the email, and then they send me a notice. Okay, what do you want to change this password to? And I say, ooh, this is working. I did this like 6 times. Ooh, this is working. And I put in the new password. And I hit send, and they go, oh, yeah, we're going to need a 6-digit code or an 8-digit code just to make sure that it really is you. And I say, okay, you're going to email me that? Yeah, we're going to email you that. We're not talking to each other, by the way. I'm just talking to my computer at this point. And then they send me that, and then they say, oh, no. You set up 2-factor authentication, and we're going to need the code on your authenticator. Does anybody else know what an authenticator is?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I did not.
I don't know what
now.
it is, but I have it.
I do now. And so here's a hot tip. After you already need the code, you can't go get the code if you've not already connected those two things.
Yep.
And I didn't connect them. So somebody else did. So the hackers, being the smart, evil, oh my goodness, what I would do to them. I think I would, I don't know that I would kill them.
Well, that wouldn't be worth it, Brother Murphy.
I would put them on the island, Ken. I would. You know, my island, where I don't want to kill people that do things that don't kill other people, but I do want them to die a horrible and horrific death. Okay. So I feel like if you just put them on a rowboat and put them on the island, then it's not my responsibility anymore. You're on your own. Anyway, so they have this 2-factor authentication that I can't get through, and so it's just a vicious circle. So I was like, so finally I'm like, I've got to talk to someone. Well, apparently Facebook doesn't believe. Mark Zuckerberg, if you're listening, would you give me a call? I'd like to speak to you about this. They don't believe in customer support on the phone. They do not believe in, and they don't believe in it. So I went online, and I looked this up, Weber. Let's see. Hold on. It was, well, it's not showing up. Was it? Oh, no. 82, no, this is probably it.
Don't give those numbers.
Okay, well, I won't give those numbers. So I made a telephone call to a number that I saw online. It looked like an official account, and Facebook customer support.
Okay.
And I don't feel like I'm an idiot here, and I understand if y'all want to call me an idiot, you want to tell me I'm an idiot for having similar passwords or whatever, I mean, I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. That's fine.
Dude, I've gone down a rabbit hole too, so never mind.
Well, here, it gets better, Ken. Because I call someone and, Michael, he named himself, said, hello, this is Facebook support. May I help you? And that's the way he sounded. I'm not casting aspersions or acting in a stereotypic fashion. That's the way the man sounded.
Right.
Hello, my name is Michael. May I help you? Facebook support. And I said, I've been hacked, Michael, and I need some help accessing my account. And he goes, okay. And so he asked my email, and I gave him my email. And he said, and what is your name? And I gave him my name. And he asked me if I lived in the state of Tennessee. I think he said Tennessee, and I said yes. And he said, okay, I'm going to need to, we've got to verify that it's you. And I see here that you have recently changed your password. You've recently changed your email. I said, I changed none of those things, Michael. And he goes, yes, I understand. We're gonna need to access this. He seemed, Ken, Chris, very helpful. You know, foreign, but helpful.
Right.
Seemed like he was willing to serve.
Right.
Which was nice.
That's your first red flag.
Yes, that should have been.
Yes.
And so Michael then says, he says, I'm going to need you to, do you have a laptop computer or a phone with internet access? And I said, yes, I do, Michael. I'm talking on a telephone that has internet access. And he said, do you have a laptop? I said, yeah, I have a laptop. He said, I'm going to need you to access a website for me. I was like, ooh, he's going to take me to like some backdoor Facebook. You know, like facebook.com/backdoor/screwthemhackers.com.org. That's not where we went. We went to a website called anydesk.com. Okay. And I said, he said, I need you to download. He said, you see the screen. Do you have it up? And I said, yes, I have it up. He said, do you see the download button? I said, yes. He said, I need you to download that on your laptop.
Oh.
And I said, okay. And as I'm hitting the button, I said, no, first I looked up, is any desk, before I hit the button, I looked up, is any desk safe?
Yeah.
And I came back and it said, yes, it is a legit website. It's a point of entry to give you remote access to a computer. And I was like, okay. And so I hit download. And as I'm doing that, I said, the thought occurred to me. I said, Michael, yes? I said, you know, it's surprising that a company as big as yours uses a third party to do this. He goes, oh, no, it's a very easy way to access your data and to make sure that you are who you need. To going on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And so then I went back to the handy-dandy Google machine, and I typed in, does Facebook use AnyDesk? And I got a response. No, Facebook does not use AnyDesk, but scammers use the app to target Facebook users.
Yes, sir.
AnyDesk is a legitimate remote desktop app that IT professionals use to help clients with technical issues. However, scammers use AnyDesk to access your computer and steal personal and financial information. And I said, Michael. And he goes, oh, no, you've got it downloaded. Okay, go ahead and install. And I'm like, hold on a second, Michael. Why does my phone here tell me that Facebook doesn't use AnyDesk?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we use this is a legitimate website that we use to help us access to verify your information to get you back up and running. I said, Michael, what is your last name? That's when he said his last name was Nelson. I said, how can I identify you? I said, I've just been scammed here, and maybe I'm being crazy, but I feel like I'm being scammed again. Can I get some identifying information? What do you mean? I said, don't you have like an employee ID number or something? And you know how Michael answered me? He hung up the phone.
Boom. Now you know, Brother Murphy.
It was a small victory in a sea of frustration. How was y'all's day? Good?
Better.
Yeah. I didn't deal with that, dude.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, I also forgot. I had LinkedIn. Still can't get into LinkedIn.
Yeah.
LinkedIn's out.
And I don't know if this is if it is or was your Facebook account, but when I click on the Matt Murphy page, it says this content isn't available right now.
Okay.
Mine doesn't do anything.
It says when this happens, it's usually because the owner only shared it with a small group of people, changed who can see it, or it's been deleted.
Oh, okay. So
Matt Murphy's show is still up.
Yes.
Oh, it's Matt Murphy's show, but not Matt Murphy.
Yeah, Matt Murphy is nothing.
Oh, well, that's right. But Matt Murphy's show's still up and running?
Yep.
Well, that's nice of them.
Trying to sell a treadmill.
I was trying. No, that's not true. I'm trying to give a tread.
Give away.
I'm trying to give away a tread climber.
Well, that's
very
totally different.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. Which most people are describing as, before I was booted off my own Facebook page, they were describing as a nice clothes rack. It is something to say that I cannot give a tread climber away. I mean, right?
Anybody that wants one's already got one.
Well,
And probably want to get rid of it.
I mean, I did admit during the post or in the post, before I, once again, was booted off my own Facebook page, I admitted that it needs a little TLC. It needs some maintenance because it still runs, but then it kind of binds up. It needs to be greased and lubricated and all those things. And I admitted that. That's why I'm giving it away. Mm-hmm. So if anybody wants one, just let me know. Just don't go to my Facebook page and ask for it because someone in Belize will probably hit you up for cash or something or another.
Oh, Mike Nelson.
Oh, Mike. Oh, good old Mike. Mike, you son of a... 21 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, there was a great... during all of this, in the background was Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and the rest of Donald Trump's cabinet talking earlier today. We'll talk all about that on the show today. Jeff Bezos has perhaps gotten religion? Has Jeff Bezos woke up? It seems so, and it's annoying a lot of liberals. We'll talk about that today as well. Plus, any and all of your telephone calls as to how to get me out of this hacked. I'm not going to belabor it, and I don't think it's worthy talking about it that much, except to say, if y'all have any tips, hit me up on the Super Text line, or in particular, and I'm being dead serious, if you know somebody that's really, really good at this stuff, I'm paying because I don't know what to do. At this point, I don't, because you can't. What's frustrating is what it makes me want to do is eliminate Facebook out of my life.
But you can't.
I know, Ken. I mean, if it were just me, yeah, I'm out.
Right.
But it's the show.
It's your livelihood.
It's my life.
And not to mention, you can't just walk away from it because that Facebook account is still out there.
Yes.
Associated with me.
Someone could do things with it that would reflect upon you.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could do anything worse than I've done with it, but
That's true.
There it is. I mean, if at any point you hear somebody claiming to be Matt Murphy talking about, guys, I need some help. I've lost my phone. I did get access to this email site, and I'm over in the United Kingdom, and I really need $2,000 to get back up on my feet. And if you'd help me out, I'll have access to my bank account, and I'll get you some money back. If you see any of that, just know this. It's me, and go ahead and send me the money. It's 22 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, kids. It's Matt Murphy for Tennessee Men's Clinic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen up because here's the deal. This affects women just as it affects men, especially when we're talking about intimacy in your relationship. What is it? I'm talking about a lack of desire, motivation, or drive. Now, I can talk about the letters E and D, and you guys know what I'm talking about, but if you've experienced any of this in your life, you need that fix, and I'm here with that fix. Actually, I'm here with the people that have it, and that's Tennessee Men's Clinic. Evan Bass started Tennessee Men's Clinic in Nashville in 2014. He's had wild success getting T levels where they ought to be, getting you back to life again, back to intimacy again with your romantic partner, your relationship, your significant other, your wife. It's time, men. Let's make the call that so many others have made. They've been made right again, and you can be too. TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Or give them a call at 615-208-9090, 208-9090 for our friends at the Tennessee Men's Clinic.
Another memo from the Trump administration to federal agencies. And hear what the president had to say during the first cabinet meeting of his second term. There's also been another plane crash. We'll tell you about it at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you much, Mr. Ken Weaver. It is locked for Trump Day 361. Not many of those left, as that hair is being cut next Tuesday, March 4, Nashville Palace. You be there.
That's 6 days from now, Brother Murphy.
Is it 6 days?
Yep.
It is 6 days.
Yeah,
Today,
week from yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. Ken Weaver will be there.
I'm going to be there.
I mean, Ken Weaver was doing that. What was that news story he was doing at the top of the hour there, Chris Webber, that I commented on? It was something about some gross.
Yeah, it was, what was it, cruise?
Oh, yeah.
Virus on the cruise.
Everybody on the toilet.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they're spending the first days of their vacation hovering over or sitting on the toilet.
That's interesting because normally for me, my last days of my vacation would be.
This was right off the bat, man.
Well, I mean, get it out of the way. Have y'all ever seen the Saturday night? There's a Saturday Night Live bit. There was a cruise ship that went awry and they lost power, and apparently people freaked out. And there was a report of feces on the walls.
Oh.
And Saturday Night Live did a send-up of it that is hilarious. And I will not bother trying to describe it to you because you know how it is. If you try to tell a Saturday Night Live skit and people haven't seen it, you just go look it up. If you know it, you know it. There's a young fella on the there's Dookie on the walls, people. There's Dookie on the walls. And they bring up a comedian with Coco the monkey. And somebody has eaten Coco the monkey, so it's just a little monkey skeleton. And he was like, "Why? Why did you eat Coco? We still have food."
Wow.
Anyway, that's what it reminded me of, Dookie on the walls. But yes, you can hear some of those great type of newscasts live and in person at Nashville Palace.
While you eat.
While you eat your buffet. You can hear about the Dookie cruise.
I'll be doing an update on this particular story.
There you go. Ken Weaver, Chris Webber will be there, Matt Murphy will be there, Chris Hand will be there, Chad Benson, Dan Mandis, the whole gang, Joan Jones, Brian Wilson. Everybody will be there March 4th at Nashville Palace. You can be there as well. Buy a ticket at 997WTN.com. That's 997WTN.com. James says he was hacked. Anna says no Facebook. I don't know what line 2 says, but we're going to find out together on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$3:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Every federal agency is being directed to prepare for massive layoffs. According to a memo from the Trump administration, it also says each agency must submit a plan to execute the layoffs. Elon Musk updated this morning's cabinet meeting on efforts by DOJ to trim federal spending by $1 trillion by next year.
I guess it was like last week, the president encouraged me via Truth Social and also via phone call to be more aggressive. And I was like, okay, yes, sir, Mr. President, we will indeed do that.
Now, Musk says he's getting death threats, but will not be deterred. President Trump then took questions for about an hour. He said he plans to hit the EU with 25% tariffs.
The European Union was formed in order to screw the United States. That's the purpose of it. And they've done a good job of it, but now I'm president.
Trump says he's going to do it on April 2nd. He says you're going to see something, quote, amazing. As for Ukraine,
We're doing very well with Russia, Ukraine. President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement.
Now, Zelensky today called the deal a framework, saying he wants security guarantees added in exchange for mineral rights. And Mr. Trump?
Well, I'm not going to make security guarantees beyond very much. We're going to have Europe do that because it's in, we're talking about Europe as their next door neighbor.
3 patients airlifted to safety without serious injury after their small plane crashed into a snowy mountain in Manchester, Vermont today. Firefighters say the snow actually helped cushion the fall. It was a Piper PA-28. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Jolton pothole work, right lane block, 24 eastbound at Whites Creek Pike. Rivergate, right shoulder block, 65 northbound between Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Long Hollow Pike. All lanes are open, nothing blocked. It's just volume trying to get through there. And in Laverne, we've got a crash blocking the left 2 lanes, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Lingering shower very early in the day, drying out through the afternoon, getting some sunshine back, and temperatures will hover right around 60. Back to the mid-60s on Friday, and good sunshine to end the week, and looks like good sun for the weekend as well.
If you care about your confidence and self-esteem, hair is important, obviously, especially if you got a lumpy head like I do. And I wanted to protect my head of hair. And so I went to PAI Medical, the We Grow Hair people. You've seen the billboards. You've heard me talking about them. Now it's time to make the call, gentlemen or ladies. I use the PRP laser treatment. It's for busy folk like you and like me. It's in and out in about 45 minutes. It works. You get thicker, fuller hair. I know I did. It restores your hair and restores your confidence. Now, if you're a little further along, nobody else in Tennessee has the ARTIS robotic FUE procedure and the multi-unit hair grafting procedure. These are 2 treatments that give you 2 times the hair in one procedure, and it's guaranteed results. Guaranteed to work. Like I say, I've had the laser treatment. I had wild success, obviously, with my head of hair. As long as it is now, you can have the same level of success. Make the call that so many others have made to the PAI Medical We Grow Hair folks. 615-376-6010. That's 376-6010. Or go online to find out more at WeGrowHair.com. That's WeGrowHair.com. Oh, this is sure to make me a pleasure to be around. The Instagram people just got back to me and said, you know what I was doing right before the show?
Yeah.
They said, oh, yeah, it's you. Well, no crap. I know it's me. I had to, put a video up for the Instagram people. And they said, Okay, choose your account. Okay, it says, instead of entering the 6-digit code, select try another way. Okay, and I want to, okay, and you know what? I'm going to do this later because it's just going to make me mad. By the way, just as a humorous aside, I would note that I found out today that there's an organization or some sort of group or website or something or another called Humble Bundle.
Humble Bundle, okay.
Yes. Do you know what that is?
It seems like I've heard of that before.
Well, I am not a part of the Humble Bundle family. Yeah. And the reason I know is because I received an email that said, Humble Bundle password reset request. You attempted to reset your Humble Bundle password, but we don't have an account registered under this email address. If you would like to create an account, click the following link. And then it goes on to help me out there. So apparently the people that stole my crap, they're just trying everything and anything.
Yeah.
Which, you know, more power to you.
Surely you, one of the first ones you did change was your email password, right?
Yes, I actually spoke to the what is it? My web server.
Yeah.
I use 1&1 because I have a .com address.
Yeah.
For my email. I see now. This is what it does. I've been giving out my personal email openly for a long time now, and now I'm hesitant. But it's you know, at the radio station, it's matt.murphy@cumulus.com, or it's matt at 997wtn.com, I think. Yep. And my personal address is matt@murphyshow.com. And so the Murphy Show is hosted by 1&1. And I talked to somebody at 1&1, and they walked me through the steps to make sure that everything was nice and secure. Yeah. And we got all of that handled,
That's
too.
Good.
So,
at least they can't then go behind you like they were doing with this Humble Bundle thing, trying to reset passwords. And
and the 1&1 folks, because I kind of intimated that maybe this came from them, and they were very adamant that it did not. That I was not compromised on their end.
Nothing suspicious had happened on their side.
That's what they say. So they say, well, your password is what it is and has been what it has been. So, but we got everything reset and all is well and good. James is on the road, and James was or is hacked. Hey, James, how are you?
Well, first of all, that was about 2 years ago, and still to this day I haven't figured out how we got it fixed. But the reason I called in is I'm driving my 18-wheeler. I'm coming out of Illinois into Kentucky, and I'm listening to y'all, and you get to talking about that. I told your screener, I said, it was all I could do is not to rip this steering wheel off this truck, because I'm telling you, I'm a lot older than you. I'm not nowhere around as calm as you, but I know the feeling what you was talking about, the way the guy was talking. I was trying to be nice to him, and I was trying to tell him, I said, dude, you're going to have to give me somebody that can speak English. I'm not being mean to you. Just give me somebody that can understand me and I can understand them. And he hangs up on me.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up going 2 or 3 other times. But before I get off, I want to ask you this, because I've asked other people, and I guess I'm the only idiot in the world that thinks about stuff like this. Those people that hacked your computer, my computer, and everybody else's computer, somewhere in their house, in their office, in their garage, they've got a certificate on the wall because they had to go to college to learn all of that. Why do they spend their time after they've spent all that money going to school to try to turn around and just mess with regular Joe? Can you answer me that? Why would you do that?
Money. It's got to be money, right, James?
Well, it just causes me burning sensation in my stomach and in my heart. But it makes me want to kill somebody. But I just think it's so silly.
It does. It infuriates me too, man. And I mean, it gets me in the nether regions, James. I mean, it does. I mean, it does. I mean, and you know what? It destroys me because it's so frustrating that these individuals are out there doing this. Secondarily, it just screws up my OCD. I'm a little bit too OCD when it comes to being buttoned down on certain things, certain aspects. I mean, I'm completely unbuttoned down in certain aspects of my life, but other aspects I want to be completely buttoned down. And the inability to button this issue down and to put it to bed is mad. I mean, at one point, I had to send pictures of my license I mean, I haven't even gotten into half of all.
Wow.
Of this. But those are organizations that were legit, saying in order to repair your account, your password's been compromised, your backup, blah, blah, blah. Here's what you do. Go to this third-party website. You got to take a picture of your license, the back of your license, send that in, and that'll verify that it's you.
Wow. Dude, I'm about to cancel everything I've got.
I'm telling you. I mean, it really does make me want to figure out how to do what I do on the radio. I mean, the Elon Musk's deal is working just fine. Yeah. No, legitimately, one of the only online places that I'm at that is uncompromised is the X machine.
Interesting.
Isn't that that's very curious. The old X machine. I bet I could talk to a human being at the X machine too if I wanted to. Speaking of the X machine and Elon Musk, and I'll get back to your calls momentarily on this subject, but Elon had a few things to say at the cabinet meeting today. Donald Trump called on Elon Musk, his man, with the Doge. Yes, it is the hour of Doge after all. We got to get into this. He called his man on Doge, and at the first cabinet meeting, he quickly shows off his tech support T-shirt.
That's the way it works. So I'd like to have Elon Musk please say a few words.
Well, thank you, Elon. Thank you, Mr. President. I actually just call myself a humble tech support here because
humble tech support.
Actually, as crazy as it sounds, that is almost a literal description of the work that the Doge team is doing, is helping fix the government computer systems. Many of these systems are extremely old. They don't communicate. There are a lot of mistakes in the systems. The software doesn't work. So we are actually tech support. It's ironic, but it's true.
So Elon's got some tech support expertise. So maybe I should hit Elon up to find out if he could help me out with the Zuckerberg problem.
I bet he could.
Oh yeah,
I bet he could too. I bet he could get me in contact with Zuckerberg, and then I could yell at Zuckerberg for a while. Little machine. Anyway, Elon went on to talk about his 5-question email and a few other things during the cabinet meeting. We're going to share some of that with you in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN Plus during the hour of Doge, which I was told yesterday should have been called the Daily Doge, which absolutely makes sense, but we're already all in on the hour of Doge, so it's too late. I mean, it's alliteration. It works a lot better, but, oh well.
We're already in it.
Yeah, we're all in. Hour of Doge. We're in. There's nothing we can do about it. So, one way or the other, there's a couple of updates. Folks are very upset, very, very upset how this is working. President Donald Trump tapped Elon to speak at the top of his full cabinet meeting today to discuss the progress being made. Musk is standing in his signature black suit jacket with a T-shirt underneath that said tech support. He just described that to you. Spoke at the meeting saying, I just call myself humble tech support here, as crazy as that sounds. So we're just tech support. It's ironic, but it's true, saying that the government inefficiencies begin with their inability to communicate with one another, department to department, and the antiquated technology that exists within the federal government. So that's a good thing that we're getting that updated, if nothing else. Anna is next in Nash. Hello, Anna.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I think you're good.
Okay, great. You said you can't quit Facebook. Why not? Facebook has given you, me, everyone else plenty of reason to leave. Give another platform a chance. You could do a poll. Ask your listeners what platform they would choose. Your followers will follow you.
No, I believe that, and you're right. You're not wrong. I certainly can, and I don't really associate myself with. I mean, I do some things on Facebook. I don't do a lot of. I'm more of an X guy anyway. At Matt Murphy Show, by the way. Anybody wants to follow me on X, you may at Matt Murphy Show. So this might just be the kick in the shorts that I need, Anna.
I agree. It would be for me too.
It is. It is highly frustrating. Are you on Facebook?
I have an account. I don't get on there much. Basically, my mom sends me dog videos.
Those are the best.
I keep it just for that, but whenever I meet a new person and they ask, are you on social, I just assume give you my phone number if I actually want to be friends with you.
No, that's right. I mean, originally it seemed like a nice idea, and Anna, you're right. You're right. Thank you for the call, and I'm going to take Anna's suggestion under advisement because I think Anna's right. I mean, originally Facebook seemed like a great idea. We could reconnect with people that we haven't seen in years and years and years. And then very, very quickly we realized there was a reason why we haven't connected with those people in years and years and years.
Oh, yeah, that guy used to try to beat me up.
Right.
Yep, he's
Wait a minute.
still as conceited as he ever was. All right, that's good enough for me. Moving on.
But enough about me. You know, I never liked I didn't like any of these people in high school. What made me think that 32 years down the road I would like them any better?
Yeah. Very true.
So, I mean, there's that going on. I mean, now, sad to say, now some of them started dying.
Yeah, that's happened.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's weird.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get those alerts. I got the Thompson High School, no P in Thompson, Thomson, Thompson High School class of 19 and 91.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
on that Facebook page. Not anymore. I'm probably hacking it right now as Matt Murphy. But
I should have been prom king.
I should have been. Did y'all have senior superlatives?
Yep.
Senior superlatives. You know, I wanted most likely to succeed or most talented. You know what I got?
What?
Wittiest.
I didn't get anything.
Oh, Ken Weaver, you deserved something.
I didn't get anything, man.
You deserved it. Wittiest? Come on.
That's like a pity superlative, right?
It's a superlative. Now, hold on a second. I mean, I don't think I don't think there's two things. That's an oxymoron. It's a pity superlative. It's a superlative.
As far as the superlatives go, it's kind of like, throw them a bone. You can be the wittiest.
I felt like it was the weakest of the senior superlatives.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think if you were to rank the superlatives, it would be like the secretary of it was like the HUD secretary in the cabinet. You know what I mean?
Kind of low on the totem pole.
Yeah, you're not Secretary of State. Yeah. You're not Secretary of Defense. You're not one of the OG cabinet positions. You're just down there somewhere. You know, you're Secretary of Transportation. If Buttigieg can do it, anybody can do it. Anyway, Eric is next up in Jasper, Alabama. Hello, Eric.
Matt, I know who it was. I don't think that guy's name was Michael.
All right.
I think his name was John Bird.
John Bird. It's a name from the past that no one but you and me recognizes.
I know it. Your call screener said, "Well, he know who that is." Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know who it is.
Because remember that you guys did a skit about that years ago, the voice and everything. You know, I'm going like, yeah, that was John doing that. He just wants his information.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
He's not been the same since I left Alabama. Everybody knows. John Bird, by the way, was a coworker of ours down in Birmingham. He was a producer down in Birmingham. I don't think he's not with the station any longer. I don't believe.
No, sir. He, that's what I'm saying. He's probably disgruntled.
Well, you know,
I've talked to other friends of ours. Yeah, they're still down.
Well, if you catch up with John, Eric, let him know that I hope that he gets gruntled down the road.
I hope he does too, because I really liked him.
I do too.
I really did.
No, John's a great guy.
I miss you down there, brother.
You know, they're firing people that I hired right and left, Eric, right and left. John Bird, I hired him. He's a great guy. Great. One of the master. He had the ability to do these satirical songs, these parody songs. Oh, just an absolute master artist in that regard. 51 after the hour. All right, Elon Musk at the cabinet meeting had a few things to say about Doge. And we'll get into that, whether we get into it in the hour of Doge or the hour after Doge. Also, Jeff Bezos has gotten religion, apparently, when it comes to the Washington Post and their opinion pages. Plus, coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Now, I know he was on briefly with Dan Mandis. I missed it, admittedly. But Congressman Tim Burchett, who was supposed to be on with us earlier in the week and had to cancel, will be on with us at 5:05 to talk about his vote. Big-time vote in the Congress of the United States of America, 217 to 215, and Congressman Burchett was on the fence until he got on the phone with the man. We'll tell you all about that coming up in about an hour or so. It's 52 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. You feel the temperature outside? I mean, it is nice. It's a Chamber of Commerce, 72 degrees out of doors. I mean, you can't beat it. And eventually, you're going to have to turn on the AC. We had the windows up earlier today at the Murphy compound. What about you? Have you turned that AC on yet? Don't do that. You'll smell the smell. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? The dust burning off and the smell of a system that has not run in some months. I mean, that is coming out. That's affecting you and your family. You need to get the thing cleaned with Efficient Heating and Cooling. Call Jeff Eddy and get the AC ready with Efficient Heating and Cooling. He'll come out, he'll maintenance the unit, he'll clean it out, make sure that everything's running tip-top, that it's all, it's got everything it needs to run throughout the course of the spring and the summer, and do so for you jiffy quick and won't charge you an arm and a leg. As a matter of fact, they guarantee never over $125. And that's on no matter how many residential units you have, that's on one service call. $125. That's the cap. Oftentimes it's a lot less than that. If you're trying to make a decision whether to repair or replace, perhaps it was not running efficiently during the end of the season last year, maybe it's time to talk to Jeff Eddy about replacing that unit. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they can find the right brand for you. 615-784-4424 is the number. 615-784-4424 or efficienthvac.net.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
A Middle Tennessee man took an axe and a match to his phone after his fiancée got curious and looked what was on it. Police got involved. We'll tell you about it at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All fun and games till the popo gets called.
Yes,
know
sir.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
57 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Glenn Jacobs has weighed in.
Oh, yeah?
And wants to know if we think that Kane, which is obviously his wrestling alter ego, should be the one to knock down the door at Fort Knox.
Ooh.
Yes.
That'd be good.
Absolutely,
that would be awesome.
man.
That would be pretty good. I'm gonna give him the big thumbs up on that. That's pretty nice. So that's that. Yeah, I mean, wait. I asked a question on the only social media platform that I trust anymore, the X Machine. Find me at Matt Murphy Show. That's at Matt Murphy Show. Follow me there. What? And I asked this question legitimately. What's the holdup on this Epstein list? I don't understand it. What is the holdup on JFK? What is the holdup on RFK? What is the holdup on MLK? I mean, what is the holdup? Can someone get in front of a microphone or a camera somewhere and tell me what the holdup is? Like, what? Epstein's dead. The Giselle chick, is she dead or in prison? In prison.
Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah,
she's in prison.
She's in prison. So the victims in the case have come, redact their names and let's go. Let's find out who's on the logs, who's on the flights, who was on the island. Let's go. What? Sincerely, what is the holdup? Why it? And look, I'm not trying to cast aspersions and I'm not trying to make enemies out of friends. But we were told that we would have this information. Pam Bondi said, a week ago that it was on her desk. What is the holdup exactly? Now, there can only be one of two answers. Either there's nothing there of interest. I suppose that's an answer. Oh, you won't recognize any of the names or whatever. Or there are names of interest.
Maybe they're twisting some arms.
Well, I don't like that either.
Well, no.
I just, what do you think? What are the holdup? We're going to talk about it in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We also have Jennifer on the road. She's got a Jennifer, don't you go anywhere. Jennifer and Shannon both say they have solutions to my Facebook problem. Really?
Excellent.
Do they
said, yeah.
Awesome. Y'all hold on. I'll pay in kind. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, News 2 says 38-year-old Joshua Hamilton of Ashland City went to extreme measures after his fiancée found some disturbing images on his phone. He allegedly told his fiancée that he was drunk and looking at porn when images of child porn popped up. Well, before police arrived, Hamilton allegedly burned his cell phone, then chopped it with an axe and threw it into some woods near a neighbor's yard. Well, police found it anyway, and Hamilton was booked into the Cheatham County Jail, charged with tampering with evidence and sexual exploitation of a child. It is not believed any of the children found on the phone are from this area. A Trump administration memo directs every federal agency to prepare for large-scale layoffs and present a plan for executing them. Meanwhile, DOGE Director Elon Musk addressing Trump's first cabinet meeting of the second term to say he is confident of meeting the goal of trimming $1 trillion of wasteful federal spending by next year.
It requires saving $4 billion per day, every day, from now through the end of September. But we can do it, and we will do it.
Musk says he's getting death threats. Meanwhile, President Trump confirms Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky will be at the White House on Friday to sign a minerals deal. And we see reports that Israel and Hamas have agreed on a swap that will end the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire. 4 dead Israeli hostages for the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. And the CDC now reports the first measles death in the U.S. in more than a decade. Texas authorities confirming today that an unvaccinated school-aged child died from the disease after being hospitalized in Lubbock last week. Dr. Laura Johnson, who is a pediatrician treating several of these cases in Lubbock, tells ABC News this could be the new norm if more effort isn't put into vaccination and prevention.
If we don't continue to vaccinate and do the things that we did in order to make these illnesses of the past, then there'll be illnesses of the present.
The West Texas outbreak now stands at 124. And right now in Tennessee, state lawmakers advancing legislation to put a 10% tax on vape products. The Tennessean says an estimated 400,000 Tennesseans regularly use vaping devices. Supporters say this bill is aimed at protecting kids and cracking down on Chinese vape products. Critics say it's going to put vape stores out of business and harm people seeking safer alternatives to cigarettes. This new tax could raise $16.5 million in new revenue every year. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Madison, a crash blocking the left lane, 65 northbound after Old Hickory Boulevard. In Laverne, a crash, right shoulder off-ramp blocked, 24 westbound to Old Hickory Boulevard. And then in Woodbine, accident on the right shoulder, 440 westbound after Nolensville Pike. And in Murfreesboro, an object in the road, 840 westbound past Jefferson Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy. The Matt Murphy Radio Show in progress, episode 758 right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is Wednesday, February the 26th. Don't forget about our big Nashville Palace date. It is an evening with Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We are preparing to watch Donald Trump's address to a joint session of Congress, typically called the State of the Union address. They don't really do that on inauguration years, but, you know, that's what it is. We will build up to that moment at 8 o'clock next Tuesday night. When I say we, I'll start the proceedings at 3 o'clock that afternoon at Nashville Palace. Chris Webber will be there with me. Ken Weaver will be there with me. We'll crank it on up. You can watch us in action. And then at 6 o'clock or thereabouts, probably a little bit earlier than that, young Dan Mandis will roll in. Dan Mandis of Nashville's Morning News, as will Chris Hand, as will Chad Benson, as will Brian Wilson. Brian back in the house. So we're very excited about that. We're very excited about the haircut that I'll be receiving by the singing barber. I'm not supposed to say that it's by the singing barber Noah Peters yet. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either until earlier today. I've said it since I found out I wasn't supposed to say it because I said it yesterday. So,
I mean, cat's already out of the bag.
You know, a little too late.
Yeah.
Too late. We can't stuff that toothpaste back in the tube. But we're not supposed to say that because apparently everyone involved has to I might get in trouble for saying this. But whatever. According to our people, everyone involved has to sign a waiver.
Oh, involved in the haircut?
Involved in the haircut.
Gotcha.
So apparently, I'm being told I have to sign a waiver to get my hair cut.
Is that in case your ear gets snipped or something like that?
In case of the nicking, I believe, is what the deal is, Ken Weaver.
What if you just don't like the haircut?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. That's a good idea. Don't record this. I could claim that the company made me get my hair cut, and I don't like my haircut, and there's irreparable emotional damage of some sort.
Yeah, exactly.
I could sue everybody.
Yeah.
I could sue Cumulus. I could sue the singing barber, Nashville. I'm going to sue everybody. I'm going to sue Cooter because Nashville Palace is close to Cooter's.
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah, close enough. Willie Nelson's over there. We'll sue Willie. I'm going to sue Ken. Everybody.
What are you going to sue me for?
Hold on. I'm not suing Ken. He's got no money.
Yeah, I know. I'm driving a laundry.
With the dead battery.
It doesn't work.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Some of the money that I get from suing all the rest of these people, I'll buy you a battery, Weaver.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Fix my air conditioning, too.
I'll do what I can. Anyway, yeah, you need your AC. Man, is it nice outside or what?
Beautiful. Yeah.
It is.
Gorgeous. It's fake. It's phony. We got another one. Got a cold snap coming, Ken.
Good grief.
Well, I'm just telling you, there's another one on the way.
It's not even March yet. I mean,
we're going to have to move this show down to Alabama.
We're not done yet, fellas. We are not done yet. We've got another cold snap in store. Ken, I know you hate it, but it is what it is. Just like I hate the fact that my Facebook got hacked. I talked about that in the first hour, and I won't belabor the point. We'll get to Jake Tapper has decided he's going to write himself a book. Have y'all seen the book that Jake Tapper's writing?
What's it called? Has he come up with a title yet?
There's a title to it. It's, what is it called? It's Original Sin.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. President Biden's decline, its cover-up, and his disastrous choice to run again.
Now, where was Jake 3 years ago?
Or last year?
Well, I mean, he's got the information. He should know all about the cover-up. I mean, he's got firsthand knowledge of that.
This was Jake Tapper not a year ago on hashtag
Jake,
Never CNN.
It's very clearly a cognitive decline. Okay. That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have no app. I can't. That's so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter. Yeah, I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you.
That is Jake Tapper arguing with Laura Trump about her suggesting that Joe Biden was in a state of mental decline, arguing, vehemently defending the guy. And over, this same hypocritical scumbag defended Joe Biden and his mental health. And now he's going to write a book called Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again, by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson, whoever Alex Thompson is. You know, maybe maybe this is kind of a clean slate tell-all, where he admits that he is, in fact, a scumbag and tried to cover all of this up because he's in the bag for the Democrats and hated Donald Trump just that much. In the meantime, it reminds me of my favorite clip ever on social media. This is, I don't know that it's number one, but it is in the running. And Jennifer and Shannon, I need y'all's help on Facebook, so y'all hang in there because I got to get this out. This is certainly in the top 5, and it's right up there with Jake Tapper's steadfast refusal to recognize Joe Biden's decline. Let's listen to old Joe.
But comparing that guy's mental state, I've said it for years now. He's cogent.
He's cogent.
But I undersold him when I said he was cogent.
No, he's not just cogent.
He's far beyond cogent.
He's better than cogent.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
That's what I just said.
Intellectually.
Better than he's ever been.
Analytically. Because.
By the way, I'm going to note, and there's 30 more seconds of this garbage. This was last July that he said this. Last July.
He's been around for 50 years. And, you know, I don't know if people know this or not. Biden used to be a hothead.
Oh, really?
Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say. This is, and I don't really, you know what? I don't really care. Start your tape right now because I'm about to tell you the truth.
Okay.
And F you if you can't handle the truth.
All right.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
This guy has zero moral compass.
That's getting ready to say, man.
That's Joe Scarborough of MSNBC. How he remains employed is beyond comprehension. That well, there's a phrase for what he was doing there, and I can't really talk. It involves
lying.
I was thinking of the scene from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when Cousin Eddie comes back with the big boss. You ready to do a little butt kissing? Joe was doing it voluntarily. Man, oh man. I mean, lie after lie after lie on the part of the mainstream media. And then when they recognized they couldn't lie anymore, they just moved on from it. Nobody holds them to account. I mean, we try to. You do. The American people do. And I guess I suppose that I could argue that the American people held these scummy you-know-whats to account on November 5th. I mean, after all, that's the most important poll that matters in terms of the future of the United States of America. Jennifer has a solution, perhaps, on my Facebook problem. Jennifer, thank you for holding. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm great. What's on your mind?
Hey, traveling from Cincinnati to New Orleans to go to Mardi Gras.
Ooh, I love that.
Heard your problem on Facebook. Yeah, my daughter had her Facebook hacked. She had 30,000 followers, and she spent 6 months trying to get it back. Did a lot of the same things you're doing. I'm sure you went to Meta, filed a report, sent your driver's license in, and then they say they closed the report. You know, it's like a rabbit hole. So she finally, after over 1,000 reports being filed, she did talk to someone. The problem is Facebook has over 1 billion people on it. So there are no humans that actually reply to any of these reports that you're filing through Meta. So all it is it's computer analyzed. So when you file a report through Meta, saying you have a problem, you're saying my Facebook was hacked, there's fraud, I'm being scammed. They have computers that analyze that, and when you use those words, it automatically kicks it out and says the report's closed. So the way she got her Facebook back is she filed a report and said that one of her employees that was the administrator left, and she needs to be assigned to be the administrator for the page. And within 2 weeks, she had her page back.
Huh.
So you cannot use, if you use certain words, it has a computer that goes through and scans those words, and it'll automatically kick it out, and you'll go nowhere.
I like this. So you use the word that I need administrative privileges, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
My girlfriend, was the administrator. We're no longer together. I need to be reassigned the administrator on this page. Don't use the word hacked, scammed, anything like that, because it's all computer generated, and they will sort it and they will kick it back to you, which I'm sure that's what they've done so far.
Well, virtually no interaction thus far. I'm only 24 hours old in this. I just, no, that's good info, Jennifer. Keep listening and enjoy Mardi Gras. I hope before I hung up on her, I should have asked her if it was her first time. Y'all ever been to Mardi Gras?
Never been.
Never been.
No, I haven't either. And I don't drink enough anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it.
No, I mean, I've been drunk in New Orleans, but never been to Mardi Gras. But I feel like that's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, kind of always.
You better be drunk in New Orleans.
Oh, man, oh, man. I mean, the urine smell isn't so bothersome when you're.
That's rough in the summer, dude. It's rough business down there in the summer.
Let me tell you, I go to the same joint every time I've ever been to New Orleans, and I don't remember anything after it. It's called the Absinthe House. Y'all been to the Absinthe House?
Oh,
they have 38 or 39 different versions of absinthe.
Really?
And absinthe, that is I love the flavor. It tastes like licorice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And what I do is I start somewhere on the list and try to just go. See how far you can
sampling?
Yeah,
down the line, yeah.
See how far you can go.
Yeah. You don't get very far, do you?
No. That stuff's like 120 proof. Yeah. It's insane.
Goodness.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then you just go down the street to the New Orleans Jazz Preservation Hall and sit there in a chair and listen to some jazz music until it's time to go home.
Yeah.
There you go. There's Mardi Gras. Shannon has a thought on the Facebook. So what was her name? Jennifer said administrative privileges. Okay, I got it. Shannon, do you have any good news for me?
Yeah, actually, I've got a totally different solution, and it worked for me in a week and a half.
Okay.
My Facebook got hacked, just like yours. They scammed about $20,000 off of followers of mine on Facebook. And I did exactly what you did. I called the 1-800 number. Some guy wanted to get into my computer. I did all of that. Then I realized Meta owns Instagram and Facebook. And the way you talk to a human is you go to your Instagram account and you get Meta verified for $14.99. There's a button in there that says live chat. You can live chat with Instagram, and then Instagram forwards it to Facebook, and then somebody from Facebook comes onto your live chat and starts chatting with you. Once you send them the information and you send them a new Gmail, they set up your account. They just take all of that away. They put the new Gmail onto your Facebook. You sign into your Facebook with that new Gmail and change your password, and bam, you got it back. It took me a week and a half to figure that out, and most people haven't gotten it back in 6 months or so.
Okay, so I need you to would you do me a favor, Shannon? Can you email me these steps? I don't want to ask you to have to go through them again, but the possibility of me not getting the email is probably great, but let's give it a go. Because the problem is I can't get into my Instagram right now either because it's associated with Meta.
Well, mine was too. However, if you go in there and reset your password for the Instagram, and it's not your Facebook and your Instagram that got hacked, it's your email. And as soon as you get that little message, somebody tried to sign into your account, and you click "This was not me," and they send you a code, they're getting that same code. They're just faster than you, and they went in there and changed your email and your password and your telephone number within like 30 seconds. So definitely change the password on your email. But if you go in and ask now for Instagram to change with your username to change your password. They'll send you a code. You can get into your Instagram. And once you get into your Instagram, there is in the menu, all you have to do is just click Meta Verified.
I don't want to get too technical because I don't want to bore people, but I ask them, they send me a code, and then it says, okay, you need to go to your authenticator and send us the code and put in the code on your authenticator. Well, I don't have an authenticator.
Well, I didn't either until I got it straightened out, and then I did the two-factor Google Authenticator. But I didn't have that either. They send you a code in your email. Once you change the password to your email, they no longer have access to that code. So they can't get it, and they can't get into it, but they'll allow you to get into your Instagram.
Well, send me, if you can hit me up, matt@murphyshow.com or matt.murphy@cumulus.com. Hit me up and throw me those stages, and I'll do it. I'll do anything, Shannon. I mean, a week and a half, that seems worth it. I mean, because everything else I'm hearing is, hell, Chad Benson said he's been out for 2 years.
Yeah, a lot of people have,
That's
and
crazy.
I had a lot of people trying to help me, and it just basically boiled down to me getting Meta Verified on my Instagram and live chatting with a human.
I love that idea.
Because she's right. Jennifer is correct. Everything is AI, and unless it passes the AI, it's never going to get to a human. But you bypass those humans by getting Meta Verified on your Instagram account, and it only costs $14.99, and you're in. You actually have a live chat with someone. And then you just sit there for a minute when you send your message, and they reply.
And then suddenly you get to tell them the whole story, and they'll help you out. That sounds good to me.
And you can, it took me, after I started chatting with them, it took me about 3 days, and I was back in.
Well, hit me up, Shannon. Feed this baby bird, because I don't remember all those steps you just said, and I want to remember every single one of them. And I want to try it exactly as you have prescribed it, because it was successful for you, and I want to try it to see if it's successful for me, and then maybe we can impart that information. I mean, you just did, but to the listening audience, because apparently a lot of people have gone through this. It's 24 after the hour. It's amazing. Facebook didn't exist 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And here we are, 24 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're well into 2025 now. Are you still in pain? Have you not done what I have advised you to do and called the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief? My goodness, why not? Do you not want to be pain-free? Because the Dr. Gill Center can assist you. If you're in pain anywhere, your back, your neck, your knee, your hip, your elbow, your shoulders, you can get relief through the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, or Chronic Pain Relief, or at least they can identify the source of the pain and put you on the right path to success. It's what happened with my shoulder. Were it not for the Dr. Gill Center and Dr. Wendy and the great crew over at the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Pain Relief, I would not know about my shoulder. I would not be aware of it, and I would not have some relief on the way. They've solved my neck problems. They've virtually solved my back problems. I can tell you, folks, they help you live a pain-free life without having to rely on pills, and certainly without having to consider surgeries when you don't need them. Let's get this pain-free lifestyle in place with the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, and Chronic Pain Relief, 615-882-4838, 882-4838. Tell Dr. Wendy and the rest of the crew that Matt Murphy sent you to the Dr. Gill Center.
We'll tell you the new way the Trump administration plans to respond to rising egg prices. And there's a new memo to federal agencies about layoffs. All this and more at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I know nobody cares but me, but I'm in the gram. I'm in the gram.
You got in?
I'm in the gram.
That's way to go, Brother Murphy.
So right before we came on air, now, no offense to, what was her name? Jennifer
and Shannon.
Shannon. No offense to Shannon, but right before we came on air, the Graham told me, well, we need your, I don't know how to lock it down, though. How do I lock it down, guys?
The first thing I would do is go into the settings and make sure your email address is your email address, and then reset your password.
Okay, all right. Accounts center, password, your account, passwords, profiles. All right, I got Instagram is Matt Murphy Show. And let's see, username, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, looks good to me. And then my other program is my Facebook page, which is currently locked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it, yes, this is very good. This is a positive. Review the accounts you have in this account center. I got Instagram and I got Facebook, and they're both me. So that's pretty good. So yeah, the Instagram said, well, send us a selfie video. And I said, I can't get in. I don't know what to do. And online they said, well, you send us a selfie video and we'll see if it's really you. And so I did that right before we got on air. And I saw it said, we've successfully reviewed your selfie video and we've confirmed that it's you. So you're now able to get back into your account, follow these steps. And it said,
so that was an email it sent to you?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, that's good. At least it's coming to your email.
Log in with your username, password. Instead of using the 6-digit code, select try another way, and then use this backup code. And it gave me a backup code.
Very nice.
So I'm just wondering if they're going to be able to hack it back again.
I would change the password immediately. Would be the first thing that I would do.
Again?
Well, the Instagram, unless you already changed the Instagram password.
Already changed the Instagram password.
Well, you should be okay then.
But they locked me down even after I changed the Instagram password. I'm very confused. Should I change it again?
Yeah, it couldn't hurt.
I mean, couldn't hurt.
This is crazy, man.
It's like an endless loop.
I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, I would regret more talking about this if it did not seem to impact every single person that has communicated with me.
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody's saying, I've got people on the super text line saying, yeah, I lost my Facebook 2 years ago, couldn't get it back, and I just gave up.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people it's happened to.
That's insane. Okay, let's do some news, and I promise we'll talk about some other things other than my Instagram coming up in just a moment. It's 31 after the hour. Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes and some money news we're going to lead with this hour. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the U.S. will look to import more eggs as part of the response to the ongoing outbreak of bird flu that has egg prices surging more than 50% from a year ago. The price of eggs jumped 15% last month and are up 53% year over year, according to January's Consumer Price Index. Federal agencies being directed to start preparing for large-scale layoffs. It's in a memo from the Trump administration that also directs agencies to submit plans to carry out said layoffs. Meanwhile, DOJ Director Elon Musk telling the first cabinet meeting of the second Trump administration today he will not be deterred from meeting the goal of $1 trillion in federal spending cuts by next year.
And taking a lot of flack and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I like to stack them up, But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done.
U.S. House passed a framework for a budget bill last night. This morning saw leading Democratic U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer telling Americans,
last night, almost every single House Republican signed their names to what would be the largest Medicaid cuts in American history.
Not true, says Tennessee's 2nd District Congressman Tim Burchett.
And this just allowed the framework to go forward. It's part of the bureaucracy. And the Republicans and the conservatives are terrible at messaging. We've allowed the left to say this is going to cut Medicaid and Medicare. It doesn't even mention those departments. It doesn't even mention them.
Congressman Burchett this morning with WTN's Dan Mandis. And in entertainment news,
all my life, one person's kept me safe in Sunnydale, but she's gone. Now it's up to me.
That's Buffy the Vampire Slayer actress Michelle Trachtenberg, who died at the age of 39, found dead today in her New York City apartment by her mother. Trachtenberg had recently undergone a liver transplant and may have experienced complications. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we got that pothole work continuing there in Jolton. That is slowing things down. 24 eastbound at Whites Creek Pike, the right lane blocked. Then we've got crash on the right shoulder, partially blocking the ramp from 24 westbound to Old Hickory Boulevard in Laverne. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I want to speak with you a moment about how you're sleeping. Do you not sleep well at night? Do you not feel like you get a restful night's sleep, despite the fact that you feel like you should be getting 8 or 9 hours or whatever it might be? Are you not feeling up to the energy levels that you feel like you should? Well, might I suggest that it might be how you're sleeping? Might I suggest that you're losing sleep because you're losing breath during the night? If you have sleep apnea, it can be a significant harm to your health. And Dr. Poss and Dr. McLaughlin of the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center want to talk with you because this doesn't involve CPAP machines. They understand that for serious sleep apnea, CPAP might be the only way to go. But for mild to moderate sleep apnea, did you know there is an FDA-approved oral device that I use on a nightly basis that gently supports your jaw, helps you breathe better, sleep better, snore less. It helps your partner. It helps you. It helps your health. That's what it's all about, friends. Let's contact the Dr. Poss and Dr. McLaughlin Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center today. It starts with a visit to the website, drposs.com. 2 locations, Brentwood and Murfreesboro, and they're in network with most insurance in the state of Tennessee. That's drposs.com, drposs.com. See, you people, these salespeople, man. Tell you what.
Make you sign another waiver?
I was just having a conversation with Dave in sales during that brief advertisement timeout. And Dave was explaining, he was trying to help me understand what sold out means for the big event at the Nashville Palace. And I'm like, I'm the one that came up with the parameters of the rules, right? You were here, Weber.
Yeah.
And don't you do it. Don't you back him up on this. I see your wheels turning already.
I don't even know what he said.
He said, well, we only originally had 350 tickets available for sale, so that's really a sellout. And I'm like, no, the capacity of the facility is 725, according to Chris Weber.
Yeah, but
that's getting technical.
If you're only going to offer this many tickets, then that number constitutes a sellout, I would say.
Well, we're going to need a fire marshal in good standing with the state of Tennessee to tell me that nobody else is allowed in that facility before I get a bus cut. One way or the other, 997WTN.com for your ticket needs. 997WTN.com. We'd love to see you next Tuesday. It's the big Evening with WTN event at Nashville Palace. We are anticipating a huge speech, huge speech by Donald Trump at 8 o'clock that night. We'll lead you up to it. And one way or the other, I'm getting a haircut by the singing barber. That was one of the things we were talking about. Apparently, the singing barber wants to give me a buzz cut, too. Noah Peters, he'll be here Friday at 6. And he apparently has a robust following on social media that he claims will come out just to see him. Like he has 1.9 million people that follow him.
Wow.
So he needs what? Like a tenth of a percent?
Just a small fraction.
Just a small fraction of those folks need to sign up. So you can be a part of the big gang. Come on over to 997WTN.com. Greg, we're going to put a capper on this meta situation because Greg says that he's got me some assistance. Thank you, Greg, for the call.
Hey, Matt.
Hey,
how are
Greg?
you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hey, I'm glad you're here, Greg. Thank you.
No, my nephew is a software engineer for Meta, and my wife's account was hacked, just like yours. And they were putting out all this, send donations, and she has all this stuff wrong with her. Please get money. And we couldn't get back into it. And she didn't even know what email she used to sign up. My nephew works as a software engineer at Meta. In 45 minutes, he had her back on.
Okay, what did he do?
He told me he'd set up a new email address, and then he did it in the back office. So I really don't want to share my information.
Oh no, I mean, but hit me up. Hit me up offline, and maybe you can help me out.
Yeah, I'll get you connected with him. He's my nephew. He works at Meta. He's the one that pushes the button, so he could find it and fix it. He'll get you taken care of.
Well, yeah. Give me the lowdown. Give me the skinny. Hit me up on socials, or you can hit me up, Matt@murphyshow.com. That compromised email address, Matt@murphyshow.com. Compromised no longer, though. I have repaired that with Password Manager. So, if you, Greg, if you hit me up, I'll look into it. I appreciate the tip, brother.
Yeah, no worries. I'll send it to you now. Thanks.
All right, man. Thank you. There's Greg giving me a little something. Think about.
Maybe you won't need it. Maybe you got into the Instagram, so that
I got into the gram, and
now you just got to get Facebook unlocked, right?
I suppose, and I don't know how to do that.
Seems like you could do it through it. I mean, if you got into Instagram, then it seems like you could log into Facebook.
I feel like
it's usually the same login, right? Don't they share a login?
I don't think. Well, I mean, they share information.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they share a login. But I tried logging into the Facebook now that I logged into the gram, and the Facebook still says, oops, something went wrong. So I think the Facebook is locked down right now. It's like we're not dealing with any of this for a hot minute. So
it's because you were questioning that Michael guy. He said, well, I'll teach you.
I suppose,
He was just trying to help.
Just trying to give me some assistance, and look what I did. 44 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What an event at the White House earlier today as Donald Trump sat down with his assembled cabinet. First up on the docket was Elon Musk, as Elon Musk explained exactly what they were doing over at Doge and what the consequences of their actions would be, what the expectations of some of their requests were. But before they got into that, the HUD secretary, the Housing and Urban Development Secretary, Scott Turner, stepped up to the table, requested by Donald Trump. And I want to play this for you because I'll be honest with you. I don't recall this happening during the Biden administration. I'm not trying to cast aspersions, but say what you will. I think this means something.
Say grace, and then we'll have our meeting, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this awesome privilege, Father, to be in your presence. God, thank you that you've allowed us to see this day. The Bible says that your mercies are new every morning. And Father God, we give you the glory and the honor. Thank you, God, for President Trump, Father, for appointing us. Father God, thank you for anointing us to do this job. Father, we pray you will give the president, the vice president wisdom, Father God, as they lead. Father, I pray for all of my colleagues that are here around the table and in this room. Lord God, we pray that we would lead with a righteous clarity. Father God, that as we serve the people of this country in every prospective agency, every job that we have, Father, we would humble ourselves before you and we would lead in the manner that you've called us to lead and to serve. Father, the Bible says that blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Well, Father, we today honor you, and in your rightful place, Father, thank you for giving us this opportunity to restore faith in this country and be a blessing to the people of America. And Lord God, today in our meeting, we pray that you will be glorified in our conversation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Scott, that was a very good job you did.
There's Scott Turner, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, offering the opening prayer before the initial cabinet meeting in the White House of President Donald Trump and his assembled cabinet, to include Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to his left, to his right, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and the many, many other cabinet members that have been approved by the United States Senate. I will say that it is nice to see a public display of faith and religion in the White House again. I don't know that we saw a lot of that. We saw a lot of, so-called transsexual people showing their breasts on the White House lawn. We saw a lot of, individuals that, had their heads shaved and they were wearing dresses and they were stealing women's luggage at airports and, these types of activities. We didn't see a lot of this, and it's refreshing. I don't pretend that Donald Trump, look, we all fall short. There was only one perfect guy on earth, and they nailed him to a cross. But it is nice to see a recognition of the ultimate authority in the White House. And that's not Donald Trump, and it's not anybody else in that room. But I wanted to just to share that with you for no other reason than to share it. You perhaps missed it earlier in the day, and it's important that we recognize that. I asked the question earlier, and I will ask it again, why. I don't know of a legitimate reason what in the world would be in the Epstein files, on the Epstein list, what active cases would be open, what cases would be compromised, you hear this all the time. Well, we have to worry about our sources and methods, Matt. Sources and methods. Well, what sources, what methods are going to be compromised with regard to the Epstein files? Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Giselle Maxwell is in prison. I don't know of anyone else associated that has been charges filed against him. In other words, one of the things that we voted for, and maybe it's a side note, we voted for a lot of things in November. The people went out to the polls and they en masse decided that they're not going to believe the liberal lies. They're not going to believe that Donald Trump's this authoritarian that they claim him to be, that they believe in border security. They believe in stopping the flood of fentanyl and the flood of illegal alien activity at the southern border. They want to get our American economy going again. We want to get our energy sector going again. We want to bring jobs back to the country. You want to talk about winning? Winning? This budget deal last night was winning. 217 to 215. And I understand it doesn't go far enough. I understand why Thomas Massey was the jerk that refuses to vote for it. I get it. I get those things. But when it comes to investment in America, some of the things that we voted for, just the other day, Tim Cook and Apple said that they were investing 500, not million, 500 billion with a B dollars over the next 4 years in the United States of America. It's 125 billion a year, if my math is correct, and I think it is. That is defined as winning. Winning. Oh, yes, there are a lot of reasons why we voted for Donald Trump for president of the United States of America. Cutting government and right-sizing government to the point where we perhaps could consider balancing our budgets again. That's called winning. The budget deal is called winning. But an aspect of what we voted for was transparency in government and eliminating these closed-off government agencies that consider themselves to be extracurricular to the Constitution of the United States. Organizations like the FBI. The FBI, I do not know that the FBI as an organization is salvageable. Because I think I have a modicum of understanding of its genesis, where it came from. And it was born from a guy that considered himself above the Constitution, J. Edgar Hoover. And he ran the organization for 48 years, almost a half of a century. J. Edgar Hoover ran with an iron fist the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And they believed that they could act extracurricular to the Constitution, and anytime they were questioned as to their methods, they would tell you that the results speak for themselves, that the consequences of not doing it their way were too grave and too great, and that American security and our very fabric of life depended on them doing things their way. Well, I didn't believe it then. I don't believe it now. I don't believe that we cannot allow organizations to act exterior to the elected officials that we vote for in order to protect our freedoms and our liberties, particularly if those freedoms and liberties are going to be challenged by those very organizations like the NSA or the FBI or even the CIA, although for the most part the CIA's footprint is on foreign soil. I have faith in Kash Patel as best I can. I have faith in Bongino as his deputy as best I can. I have faith in Pam Bondi as Attorney General of the United States. But I don't for the life of me understand what's taking so long. What are we waiting on? I don't need the files in my lap right now. I need an explanation why we don't have them. What is the holdup here? Well, we've got to review them. No, that's not enough. What is the holdup? What are you reviewing? Why are the American people not seeing what y'all promised us we would see? 52 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Grace Point Healthcare delivers affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine the old-fashioned way. What does that mean, doing it the old-fashioned way? That means that when you call your doctor, you're going to talk to someone that cares about you. Eventually, they'll learn your name, Dr. Rob and the rest of the team at Grace Point Healthcare. And when you call them and you tell them that you're sick, you're just not feeling up to snuff, and you need to come in to see the doc, guess what? They see you oftentimes the same day, but certainly next day service at Grace Point Healthcare. You know, winter brings cold and flu season, and sometimes folks they don't want to get out of the house. Maybe you're just too sick. They'll do house calls for you at Grace Point Healthcare. That's modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Plus, they never let the insurance companies to get in the way of good treatment and good service at Grace Point. That's why they are a direct pay system. It's why they invite you to enroll in their basic Smart Care plan for $69 a month. You get unlimited office visits throughout the entire year, plus free basic labs and diagnostics. That's what it's all about at Grace Point Healthcare, delivering quality health care to you, the customer, not the insurance company, not the pharmaceutical companies, you. Grace Point Healthcare. Give a call today at 599-6868, 599-6868. Tell them I sent you to the heart of Franklin.
Bad guys in the Arizona and California desert. Sounds like a job for Jim Hardy. I'll tell you about it at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, thank you, Ken Weaver. We've got, just a minute or two, not even that, before we go to Ken Weaver's newscast. And right afterwards, we'll be visited by Congressman Tim Burchett. I know Tim was on Dan's show this morning, and we wanted to follow up on that conversation. Exciting night last night, as Tim Burchett was one of the deciding votes to pass a budget deal that now goes on to reconciliation in the United States Senate, which takes a simple majority. We'll find out from the man himself, Congressman Burchett, why he decided to vote in favor of this and why he thinks it's the best deal for the United States of America right now. It's 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, Brentwood police say a man shot his neighbor while trying to stop a man from stabbing a woman. This happened on Lost Hollow Drive. Police say the man tried to intervene before the woman was stabbed, then shot the alleged stabber multiple times. That woman went to the hospital, is expected to recover. The man who was shot is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Federal agencies being told to make plans for large-scale layoffs. According to a memo from the Trump administration, the president, during the first cabinet meeting of his second term, said any federal workers who do not email DOJ with an update on their responsibilities are at risk of being fired.
Those million people that haven't responded, though, Elon, they are on the bubble.
Meanwhile, Elon Musk says the work of DOJ to cut federal spending is not deterred, even though he's getting death threats.
And taking a lot of flack, and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I like to stack them up, But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done.
Musk, addressing the cabinet meeting, says in order to meet the goal of trimming $1 trillion in federal spending by next year, they have to find $4 billion a day until September. President Trump then took questions for about an hour.
In just over 1 month, illegal border crossings have plummeted.
With more on that, here's Matt Rivers.
What we're now seeing is this new phenomenon called reverse migration. Essentially, you've got people from, let's say, Venezuela, Colombia, the two biggest emigration hotspots over the last few years, coming all the way to Mexico and essentially now looking around at the landscape and saying, you know what, it's not worth it to stay here. I don't want to run the risk of deportation. I know the Trump administration is not going to let me in. Therefore, they're making the very difficult decision to return home.
The Department of Agriculture says one way the Trump administration plans to respond to the ongoing bird flu, raising egg prices, is to import more eggs. Secretary Brooke Rollins says the administration's in talks to import about 70 million to 100 million eggs from other countries in the coming months. And about 80 people who just embarked on a cruise from Florida are spending their vacation hovering over or sitting on the toilet. 79 passengers and 9 crew members on the Holland America Line's 12-deck Eurodom reported feeling ill after leaving Port Everglades February 19th. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's vessel sanitation program says it's norovirus. Train robberies may sound like something from the 1800s, but it's very much going on out in the Arizona and California deserts in 2025, says Alex Stone.
In less than a year, investigators have looked into nearly a dozen train heists in the California and Arizona deserts in which suspects cut air brake hoses, causing the trains to stop, and then multiple people board, stealing mainly Nike sneakers being shipped east. Court documents show a number of arrests have been made, but the burglaries, as they're categorized, are continuing and are often carried out by Mexican citizens linked to the Sinaloa drug cartel. Often trucks are waiting to drive away with cases full of Nikes to be sold on sites like eBay.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Jolton still got pothole work. Right lane block 24 eastbound at Whites Creek Pike. And then in Belmont, got a crash on ramp partially blocked 440 eastbound from Hillsborough Pike. In Woodbine, crash on the right shoulder 440 westbound after Nolensville Pike. And in Laverne, crash on the right shoulder off-ramp partially blocked 24 westbound to Old Hickory Boulevard. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Here we are. Here we go. 5 o'clock hour right now. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 5:05 to be precise. My name is Matt Murphy. Thank you for spending some time with us, whether you are at your place of business, perhaps just getting off work into your automobiles. Maybe you're at home. One way or the other, we thank you, or some point in between. We thank you for the time that you spend with us. We're here 4 hours a day from 3 until 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. They being the United States Congress, pulled a later night than usual. Speaker Mike Johnson and his fellow Republicans pulled off a stunning turnaround last night to rescue a critical vote to advance President Donald Trump's agenda that seemed doomed just moments before it passed. A man who was in the center of all of that joins us now on the Murphy Show hotline. It is Congressman Tim Burchett. We are proud to have him representing the state of Tennessee and Washington, D.C., and we're proud to have him on the Matt Murphy Show. Tim, good afternoon. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, brother. It's always a pleasure.
Man, you're everywhere, and I love seeing it, and I know that you are a busy, busy beaver today, and I thank you for spending some time with us. So let's get to it. Talk to me about what happened last night, and I know you were on the fence for a good portion of the evening, and then you eventually saw fit to vote in favor of this budget deal. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was there's a lot of misconceptions, and actually the left is I know it's hard for you to believe, and I know my buddy Bobby Petray is hard for her to believe as well. I'm saying that very facetiously, that the left has been putting out a lot of false information. It doesn't reduce Medicaid or Medicare. If anything, it's just going to cut the waste, abuse, and fraud out of those things. And the delivery systems on a lot of these things are so antiquated, and you've got people that don't exist receiving benefits, and there's fraud and abuse in every form of government and at the federal level. So those parts are addressed, and they're just trying to scare people, and that's wrong. But the actual bill is just a framework that allows us to further President Trump's agenda. There's a reduction in the bureaucracy, and that always troubles the left because that's their base of support a lot of times. And it actually reduces taxes on some things, allows that to happen within the framework. But we eventually will have to pass the bills that fill it. But all this is just a framework. So if you can keep all that in the whole scheme of things of where it's at, and it had the border protection in there, securing our border. You just go down the list. It actually reduced spending by a couple of, I think around $200 billion, which is about 2%, which to me is not enough. But it's, how many times you're going to say you're going to reduce spending? So we got a lot of work to do. I had a lengthy conversation with President Trump about it, with the speaker. As a matter of fact, I just kept talking to him on the speaker's phone. I was walking on the House floor, and I finally had to tell the president I had to get off the phone since I was on the House floor. We're not supposed to be on there with a cell phone. I thought it was kind of funny. I about had gotten called down for that while I was talking to the president. But, it's a crazy world we live in.
I like the idea of Speaker Mike Johnson looking at you and saying, Congressman Burchett, who in the world could you possibly be on the phone with? Is that important? That's the president.
Yeah, well, he's the one who handed me the phone. So, yeah, it was actually his phone. We were talking in his office to him, and he had him on speaker, and then they said, we got to go vote. And so as soon as he walks out the door, he gets jumped by the media. And, as the 435th most powerful member of Congress, the media, usually, I'm scraps to them. So, it was pretty interesting. But, we reduced regulations, we cut taxes, and we closed the border. So I think that's a good start.
The question is, and I know this is somewhat out of your control, but what will it look like once it gets to Senate reconciliation? Talk to the people in Tennessee about what that process is like so that they can better understand it, Tim.
Well, it's the classic sausage factory. You don't know what goes into it, but you like the end result, and that's exactly what's going on with this. It's just a lot of things a lot of moving parts, but the different committees will handle the areas of jurisdiction, and they will vote on the appropriate things. And this allowed for those, and it set the parameters of what they could spend. Now, where they're getting the cuts on Medicaid or Medicare is the department that's under. That it's a big department, a lot of things that go into it. There was a reduction for that department, and they have to find those. And the way they're going to do it is through Doge. I mean, it's just they're going to find the waste, abuse, and fraud, and that are everybody knows it's in there. We've heard multiple times, the people that don't show up for work are getting a paycheck. Well, there's people in there, and we think money could be going overseas, and it could be going to terrorists. And so we, even in some instances, I know it sounds crazy, but after you dig into it a while, you find out that a lot of this money gets diverted to these funds, and we'll be having hearings on that and exposing that, and hopefully we'll be codifying some of the things Doge has done, and that through executive order, because if we could, because anything done by executive order or stroke of a pen can be undone, stroke of a pen.
Right.
So that's what I'm hoping to, and we're doing that. And my friend Marjorie Taylor Greene and I have talked about that multiple times, and how our biggest fear is not going to be the Democrats. I mean, some of those cats are openly Marxist. My worries are going to be from the Republicans that lose their guts.
Why?
That don't have the sense to do it.
Kind of a two-pronged question. I know you've only got about a minute left. I promise to get you.
No,
out
you're
here
fine. You're fine. I'm walking. I'm walking. I got to go do some TV, and I'm walking to it right now.
Okay. Oh well, you just tell me when you need to go. So what about that? What could not lead Thomas Massey to the well? I know you're friends with Thomas.
Yeah, we talked. He wanted more cuts. That's all. And and he's principled. He told them where his line was, and they they didn't get to it. And I just said, and a lot of the things that I had were a commitment from President Trump. In the past, he's never lied to me. It's funny when we got on the phone. He said, "Tim, I love Tennessee," and I said, "I know, Mr. Trump. I know, Mr. President." And and it's funny because he leads with that because he really does love Tennessee. He loves the freedom aspect of our state and our low tax and our business-like principles that run our state. And so that kind of led off on our conversation. But Thomas, he told he wasn't for it, and he just wasn't for it. And he doesn't vote for much of anything. So he's a very libertarian-minded, and I am too. But I have a saying that I used to have in the legislature: you're either at the table or on the menu. And I needed to be at the table on this because I wanted to make sure that I could get that commitment from President Trump and our leadership that, in fact, we are going to reduce the size of government. And as I stated to him, my biggest fear was all these cuts that we make we'll turn around and just give those to the Pentagon. And I call those folks war pimps because that's what they are. And they will spend every dollar. We in the past, we've been making arms systems that were mothballed the day they were produced. And I sit in the meetings, and these are Republicans talking now, that will say, the leadership on these committees, they'll say, hey, this jet's made in your district. The guns are made in your district. And, just go down the line. And they have no convictions whatsoever. All they are looking at is jobs in their district, even though they're primarily worthless jobs because what they produce is not even used. So we need to get past that, and I think our economy is moving in the right direction. I met with a company today from Canada that's moving to Tennessee, and these tariffs are really having that effect.
So just a bullet point a few things. The tax cuts are real in this legislation.
They are real. They are completely real, and Trump's tax cuts, of course, what he wants are permanent. And I told the president that I was. Hey guys, I told the president that I was concerned about those, and there's going to be there'll be a procedure to put them permanent. That wasn't the mechanism to do it.
Hey, who gets the Tim? Who gets the honor on television right now? Who's getting the honor?
I don't. Who am I on TV with, dude? News Nation.
Oh, News Nation. So, tell the guys over there.
Yeah, they're very kind folks.
No, they're good people. And much better than that. I watched you arguing with I think Tapper the other day on CNN. It was a lot of fun.
Jake Tapper. Yeah, it was funny at the end. You know, they always think I hate them, but I don't hate those folks. I pray for them, actually. They're, when I get finished arguing with them, I did that today with my local television station. I argued with the lady, and at the end, and we were very friendly. And I was joking with Tapper about how he would mispronounce my name, and he goes, "Oh, I've been saying it the wrong way for 7 years." And I said, "Yeah, I guess." I said, "But I'm like Tony Dorsett. I said, he won the Heisman, and they changed, and everybody started calling him Dorsett. And I said, I haven't won the Heisman yet." So, and he laughed. So,
after that vote last night, you're getting closer, Tim. Look, I promised I'd get you out of here. I'm getting you out of here. Have fun on News Nation, and we'll talk to you again soon, brother. Take care, man.
Thank you, brother.
All right, there's Tim Burchett joining us. I mean, I think he walked from Longworth to the Jefferson Memorial or something.
Sounded like he was in a parking garage at one point.
Yeah, I think he got on the subway. He might have been on one of those little trolley trains.
Yeah,
underneath the Capitol.
Think about that.
You know, I don't think they have those on the House side though. They have them on the Senate side, which is fun.
Yeah,
and you know why?
Why?
Senators are older. I'm not making that up. They need the trains. They can't walk all that way under to the tunnels.
Be too much for them.
Yeah, it's just I mean, come on, Mitch McConnell? No. Anyway, there's. There's Tim Burchett. I mean, coming around to it, saying the president of the United States spoke to him personally last night on the floor of the House of Representatives, said he was talking on Speaker Mike Johnson. I mean, y'all heard him, Speaker Mike Johnson's telephone. I guess the Speaker of the House is not going to yell at you for talking on the floor of the House of Representatives. I mean, I guess there's maybe some control from the Sergeant at Arms. Those rules are strict. I've had the pleasure an opportunity of going to the floor, and if you are not a member of Congress, they kind of pat you down. They ask for your phone, and if you give them the phone, they're pretty cool about just giving you the cursory pat, and then you put it in a little cubbyhole. If you want going on the floor, you have to be with a member of the House of Representatives. The member does not have to give up their phone, but they are not allowed to take it out, even when the House is not in session. And when it is in session, obviously, it's a little bit more dramatic. But, they pat you down. They take that stuff seriously.
I'd pat you down, too, if I saw you.
Especially that long hair.
Long hippie hair. Apparently, I'm going to be clean-shaven come Tuesday night because a lot of folks are saying that they're coming. Just so I get the several people are starting to compare me to John Candy in the movie Stripes, and I don't care for it. I don't care for it.
See that
I don't care for it for a lot of reasons, Ken.
I could see you standing there with the handful of hair crying into it.
Well, I mean that's what I think the scene that they're talking about is when they get him through and he's standing there with all of his crying.
Then Bill walks out.
and Bill's hair is fine.
Yeah. It's like, why didn't you tell me?
Right. Harold Ramis looked fine, too.
Oh, I forgot about that movie, man. That movie is funny.
Oh, don't go. The plants will die. Yeah. That's a fact, Jack. Lighten up, Francis. All right, 18 after the hour. So there's Tim Burchett. There's the budget deal. Look, it is the very definition. I know I've been saying this a lot because we're going to win through incremental steps toward success in a lot of these ways. And we did not get ourselves into the immigration crisis that we find ourselves in overnight. It took 35 to 40 years of do-nothing attitudes in Washington, D.C. I do not suggest that we're going to get ourselves out of it overnight. But we are making a lot more progress than I thought we would. Similarly, we are not going to extract ourselves from our budgetary woes. We cannot tax our way out of this. We have gotten to a point with the American budget crisis where we are overspending by well in excess of $1 trillion a year. And Elon Musk said it. I have the clip over here. He said, we are going to have to save, I think he said, I'll have to find the clip. I think he said $4 billion a day until September.
I think that's right, yeah.
Elon Musk is tasked with the duty. Think about this for a moment. He is tasked with the responsibility of saving $4 billion taxpayer dollars per day from now until September, until the new budget year. Imagine that.
Yeah, and Trump told him to get more aggressive.
And that's right. And when asked about, well, why did you send out this email? And people were very upset about the email, and you were telling people that they had to tell you what they were doing, and why did you do that? And are the department heads going to follow it? And Elon said, well, the president told me to get more aggressive. And I followed orders. I mean, right?
Yeah.
So he got more aggressive, and he threw in the what would you say it is you do here? And Elon called it checking a pulse, which I kind of liked that too. Said, you know what, we were just kind of checking the pulse to see that if these folks were still alive in the federal department of whatever. 20 after the hour. We'll play those clips for you in just a moment. We'll also talk about a suggestion that the president had during his cabinet meeting that I absolutely love. And a lot of our liberal friends are clutching their pearls saying, how dare he? Donald Trump suggested that we start paying down our $36 trillion national debt by offering gold visas. Gold cards, he called them. Not green cards, gold cards, where people pay for the privilege of coming into the United States of America. Why not? Why not? What's the big deal? 21 after the hour on Super Talk. Chad Benson Show tomorrow from noon to 3 and streamed on the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and I have an incredible deal to talk to you about from Genesis Diamonds. You've heard me talking about Genesis over these last several weeks through Valentine's Day and beyond. Green Hills and Cool Springs, two great locations to serve you. And right now, Genesis wants you to know about this huge, this massive, this mammoth sale that's happening this Friday and Saturday. It is a Rolex sale. You can get a pre-owned luxury Rolex. That event is happening this Friday and this Saturday, and only at Genesis Diamonds. They are showcasing their mind-blowing collection of pre-owned Rolex timepieces, featuring a stunning new selection of hard-to-find watches, Submariners, Daytonas, Pepsis, Batmans. Every Rolex model known to man can be found at Genesis Diamonds, including never-worn fresh models that people wait years for. You don't have to wait. And during the event, you can take advantage of some special pricing, and you can take advantage of their 60 months zero-interest financing. Listen, if you're already a Rolex owner and you're looking to upgrade or maybe change out your style, bring your old Rolex to trade or meet Genesis buyers on site to receive top dollar for your Rolex. Come see the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches in the state of Tennessee and take advantage of this incredible special pricing offer. Friday and Saturday only at Genesis Diamonds.
Another memo from the Trump administration. Hear what the president had to say during that first cabinet meeting of his second term. And another plane crash to tell you about coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Rash of those plane crashes, man. Rash. Absolute rash.
Good thing for the snow in this one.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Man, that thing the other day, I didn't talk about it. I know you guys were talking about it in the newsroom, Ken, but the Southwest Airlines pilot that pulled up at Chicago's O'Hare. Oh, my goodness gracious. The private pilot needs to be punished, reprimanded, suspended, or something, because apparently the air traffic controllers were telling him to not cross that runway. Mm-hmm. And he did it anyway.
Just did it anyway.
And if that landing Southwest airline flight had not observed what was happening and immediately taken evasive action, if y'all have not seen the video, go find the video. It's dramatic. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, and I don't like them calling them near misses.
Yeah.
I'm like George Carlin. George Carlin had a great, 20-minute rant on air travel and he had a great line when he said, in the event of loss of cabin pressure, please apply your own air mask before applying the air mask to young children. And Carlin said, lady, if we're going down at 600 miles an hour from 30,000 feet, I think it's time for the little tyke to learn a little self-reliance. He said, there's a reason they call it the terminal. He went off on terminal for a while. And he goes, and there's another thing. They call it a near miss. When two huge planes traveling at 600 miles an hour come this close, that's not a near miss. That's a near hit, lady. It is a near hit. I don't like the term near miss.
That is true. It's a near hit.
I mean, then why do they call it a near miss? It's a total miss. I mean, you missed.
Yeah, it's a miss.
It's a miss. Congratulations. Well, one way or the other, this Southwest Airlines thing, man, oh, man, that was
give that guy a raise.
I wonder how come we're not hearing more about that business jet.
I mean,
I would think today there would be a lot more about that business jet, but I'm not seeing anything on it.
I would say that guy reminds me, I imagine that after he flippantly just did what he wanted to do after being told not to do what he did, that reminds me of another fabulous comedian that you don't get to call fabulous anymore because of, well, for obvious reasons, but Bill Cosby said, I thought that's what an accident was. First you say it, then you do it. I imagine they're going to have to do a little cleaning in the cockpit, if you know what I'm saying, because you turn to your right and you see that big old Southwest Airlines coming down. Woo. Yikes. Here was I don't want to steal any of the thunder of Ken Weaver, but I can't help myself. It's a minute and 15 seconds long. This was the beginning of the Donald Trump cabinet meeting when the media decided they wanted to zing Elon Musk.
I just wanted to ask you that President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything about members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going.
All right, if you can't understand the reporter's crowd, he said, well, President Trump said everybody in the cabinet was happy with Elon Musk. Is there anyone not happy with Elon Musk?
And if so, what are you doing to address those any dissatisfaction?
Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, we'll throw him out of here. Is anybody unhappy?
Well, say what you will about this dude, but he is so good. President Trump said, anybody unhappy with Elon? If anybody's unhappy, we'll throw him out of here.
It cracks me up on a daily basis.
No, sir,
man.
Mr. President. But look who's here, our good friend Cameron Smith.
Hello.
All right.
Hello, Cameron.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's been a little bit tough over the last little bit.
Yeah.
Nana died.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Sorry
88 years, had a good run.
Nana died?
She did.
Today?
Sunday night.
Oh, Sunday. I'm so sorry.
And, it happens. That's part of life. But, we're doing all the family stuff right now, that kind of stuff. It's a little down. But, man, I decided to post on her Facebook account, just to let people know this had happened, though.
Yeah.
And for some odd reason, I put a picture of her and my grandfather up there.
Uh-huh.
And then I clicked the 3D button.
Oh, no.
And that was my mistake, Matt, because...
Did you lose it?
Nope. When you look at their picture now and you turn your phone, it looks like they're melting.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't like... well, let's talk about it in a minute. Ken's got news. I don't like those 3D. The 3D things, they freak me out. It's too Harry Pottery. I don't like it. I don't like it a bit. Ken Weaver's got the newscast. Cameron Smith's with us. It's 31 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Seeing some breaking news now out of the Middle East, where reports say Hamas has handed over the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages. Meanwhile, buses carrying hundreds of Palestinian prisoners from Israel have arrived in Ramallah, which this is reported to be the final step in the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire. We'll see what the next phase brings. Every federal agency being directed to prepare for massive layoffs, according to a memo from the Trump administration. It also directs each agency to submit a plan to execute said layoffs. Elon Musk updated this morning's cabinet meeting on efforts by DOJ to trim federal spending by $1 trillion by next year.
I guess it was like last week, the president encouraged me via Truth Social and also via phone call to be more aggressive. And I was like, okay, yes, sir, Mr. President, we will indeed do that.
Musk says he's getting death threats, but will not be deterred. President Trump took questions for about an hour, said he plans to hit the EU with 25% tariffs.
The European Union was formed in order to screw the United States. That's the purpose of it. And they've done a good job of it, but now I'm president.
Trump says he's going to do it on April 2nd and says you're going to see something, quote, amazing. As for Ukraine,
we're doing very well with Russia, Ukraine. President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement.
Zelensky today called the deal a framework, saying he wants security guarantees added in exchange for mineral rights. But Trump says,
well, I'm not going to make security guarantees beyond very much. We're going to have Europe do that because it's we're talking about Europe as their next door neighbor.
3 patients airlifted to safety without serious injury after their small plane crashed into a snowy mountain in Manchester, Vermont today. Firefighters say the snow actually helped cushion the fall. The plane was a Piper PA-28. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Now, for the first time this afternoon, I do not see any crashes on the interstates. However, we've got the usual slowdowns. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. Let's talk for a moment about your health insurance. Let's talk about Cover Nash, because Shane Ring wants to answer a few questions. If you've got these questions, Shane has answers. Now, one of the questions is, are you satisfied with your health insurance? Now, if you're not satisfied, then you need to call Shane Ring. And don't wait. I mean, this whole concept of, oh, Matt, I can't do anything. It's not open enrollment. Call Shane Ring and let him talk to you about this, because you're getting taken advantage of. You can do something outside of open enrollment times. Number 2, second question. Do you know how much you're paying? I mean, if you are satisfied, do you think, well, my coverage is pretty good, Murph. I think I'm all good. Let Shane Ring be the judge of that, because he is, after all, the local health insurance expert in Middle Tennessee. He knows what you're paying. He knows that he can find out what you're getting, and he knows whether or not that is of value to you. So Cover Nash also understands how to get a health insurance plan that pays you, not the other way around. Ask him about that when you make the call. Take control of your money. Take control of your health. Managed by you, not by the government. Go to covernash.com or call 615-465-0023. 465-0023 for Cover Nash.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
I was just telling Cameron Smith the saga of Matt Murphy and his failure as a grown human being on planet Earth in February of 2025 when it comes to Facebook and the like. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. Although I've got a game plan. The audience, our audience is the smartest listening audience on planet Earth, and we got a game plan now. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, what's really rough now is the bad guys have AI. And so they can hit, once they get one piece of information, they can hit everything.
That's what they did.
Extremely fast.
What I just, and I won't go through it again. We talked about it in the 3 o'clock hour, but that list that I just went down, all of that happened overnight. Like I woke up and my emails, I thought I had resolved the Facebook thing last night. I had not. And so I saw a Facebook one. I was like, man, I still haven't gotten that resolved. And then I saw Instagram, and then I saw Amazon and eBay and Spotify and all of it. It's like, you want a password? And all of it's like, hey, you requested a password change. All right, we'll get in there and change your password for you. Just let us know.
I'm a huge proponent of AI. I think it's great in a lot of different ways. But you must remember that the bad guys get it too.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my goodness, I mean, the things that it can help you do for good, awesome. But for bad and ill, ooh, wow.
Well, it's funny because all of this started with me noting to Chris Webber, when was that, Monday?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, man, so somebody tried to pop my Facebook in Seattle. Ha, ha, ha. I was like, I got to do something about that. And Chris is like, well, you got a password manager, right? I was like, no. He's like, you got to do that, Murphy. And I'm like, I know. Well, I'm doing it now. So, yeah.
We at my house, we're super special in that we just forget our passwords all the time. So we reset our passwords almost every time we log in, and it's great.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I mean, but you know what? It is part of life. It's part of life in 2025. What about this budget? You good?
So
yesterday, the little budget.
Yeah.
217, 215, Thomas Massey's going to do his thing. All the other, I mean, say what you will, Trump herded the cats.
Yeah, and I'm a dork when it comes to this stuff. So talk to me when we do appropriations. Because the budget is basically the structural blueprint. It's not spending any money. It is the budget that gives the authority to do the thing. Typically, appropriators look at that budget and say, sucks to be you guys.
But isn't this like last year's? Aren't we still working on – this is a continuation of last year's,
yeah,
right?
Whenever you're building the budget, the first thing you do is the budget authority. And so we should theoretically – I haven't looked to see if the president released his budget. That happens right out of the gates. And then from the president's budget, Congress – this is all Budget Control Act stuff. And this is how it's supposed to go. You get the budget, and it divides it and says, hey, committees, here's how much authority you have. And, again, this is super nerdy, but the way the process works, if an appropriator – appropriates above what the budget says they can do, which they do all the time, that appropriation is subject to what's called a budget point of order. I haven't put everyone to sleep yet, but you get the idea. This is when appropriations come around, everybody wants to spend the money. That's the reason you have the budget hawks and the appropriators. That's where the rubber meets the road, and that's what I really want to see.
We're told that it will make tax cuts permanent, and we're told that it cuts. And I asked Tim Burchett, I said, is this real money? He said it's real money, $1.5 trillion. Elon Musk, interestingly, said today in the cabinet, and this really puts it to where the goats can graze on it, as they say, that in order for him to do the job that Donald Trump has charged him with the duty to do, that he has to, and look, I don't know that this is an accomplishable task, but it's a worthy goal for two people that have sat here for years. Even before I was in Nashville, Tennessee, you and I sat in Birmingham, Alabama at the time. And for years we've talked about the chickens are going to come home to roost. At some point, this money's not going away. Our obligations aren't going away. So even if it's not an accomplishable thing, for Elon Musk to stand in the cabinet meeting room and say, if I'm doing my job that the president's told me I need to do, I have to save $4 billion a day. Until September.
So I mean, right. So you were correct, and I misspoke that the budget process that's about to go forward for the next fiscal year is what I'm talking about. This is budget. It's called reconciliation.
Right.
And so this is, you cannot make all the changes you want in reconciliation. We've used this a couple times in recent history where we wanted, I think maybe Tax Cut and Jobs Act was reconciliation.
I don't think we've passed a budget in time in what?
Ever.
It's been I think it's been 15 or 16 years.
And we've had a lot of trouble. If I had my laptop, I'd pull up the CRS has a scheduler of all this, and there are 12 regular order appropriations bills, and we just dump them all together and say, omnibus.
By the way, I would let you use my laptop, but it's been compromised.
Yeah.
And you would get totally infected with a virus if you even touched it. So, but yeah, so, I mean, what we're trying to get away from, and what I would love to see, and you talk about how Donald Trump upsets the apple cart. Can he get us back to, I don't know, regular order? Where we do budgets and he presents budgets and they get them done before the fiscal year's over? I don't know.
So this is really weird for me because in certain areas, as you well know, I've been critical of President Trump and his carriage and stuff like that. However, I'm like winning on all the things I care about right now. Fiscal responsibility is cool again. I mean, I'm looking at the structure of government. Like, I literally have said, you need an executive that's willing to cut back his or her own power in order to rein in the federal government. He's doing it.
See, it scares me that we're thinking alike this much. But I said yesterday that to be called the authoritarian that he is called, to be called the fascist that he is called, this guy is handing back power to the states hand over fist.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Department of Education, not our job. Hey, FEMA, really not our job. We'll do it in block grants.
somebody has convinced him that the best thing that he can do to have a lasting legacy is to take a hatchet to the power of the executive branch, which is something I've advocated forever. But what happens is when you get the power, most people are like, I want more.
I said yesterday, and I was hesitant to say it, that we are in the midst of experiencing the greatest abdication of power in the 20th or 21st century, and maybe since George Washington.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you. Which this is, look, you're coming from the guy that gets called rhino and stuff like that. If I was a flavor of ice cream, it'd be like rhino poo or something like that. And because I am a boring Reagan conservative,
rhino spit,
rhino spit. Yeah, but that's a gross flavor.
Yeah. You want rhino poo?
Well, moose tracks. You know how that works.
At least rhino poo's chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, but no, yeah. I mean, right? So he's rolling back. But the odd thing is, and we're nerding out on this, but the odd thing is he's doing it by wielding the executive power that he's been handed by the Congress and by previous presidents, right? Because the Congress, not doing their job, just handed the executive all of this authority.
Yeah, and hey, real quick, tell me all the bills that Congress has passed. Lake and Riley Act. Congratulations, guys. And we've named some things. But this to me is the big issue is seeing what Musk and Trump and his cabinet have been able to start to do and just really just taking the bureaucratic state to the woodshed. It makes me realize we need to fire a lot of people in Congress.
Tom, you're right. Bill Clinton and the Republican Congress in the late 90s had the last balanced budget. That's not even what I was asking, though.
Right.
Many people heard that, and several of you. I'm not talking about balanced budgets. That was in the 90s. I'm talking about a budget that was presented and approved on time, unbalanced, like a budget that's horribly over, whatever. And I think the last time that a budget was actually presented on time and passed on time, that would be the end of the fiscal year, September 30th of a given year, was 2009.
It's been a long time because the President, Office of Management Budget, Russ Vaught, that team, they prepare a budget and they say, hey, here's the wish list. This is what we want to do. And then Congress passes these budget resolutions that the president doesn't sign. They're saying, hey, here's the framework for us to enact this budget. And then you go to the appropriations process and it sets those thresholds. And we don't like to do that because then people have to be responsible. They have to do their jobs and they have to, frankly, justify the spending. And we can't do that.
You talk about winning. And I'm going to ask you in a moment if you think the president is on the cusp of winning the day when it comes to Ukraine and Russia. Because that was tenuous for a minute, but Zelensky's coming to town at the end of the week, and there seems to be a minerals deal on the table. He said something today during the cabinet meeting that might upset that apple cart. We'll do that in just a moment. But on the budget deal, I think that's winning. I mean, hell, I think on the culture front, he's winning. With hey, let's not have men, rough up women in women's. I mean, these types of things we're winning in those.
The bullet points of what are you doing this week?
I mean,
come on.
Has there not been a better way to identify? And I'm not talking about everybody. And anytime you do this, you have to downshift and you have to say, we're not talking about you. If you work for the federal government, we're not talking about you. You're good. We love you. But generally speaking, federal government employees particularly are incredibly entitled.
Yeah, my point is, okay, just answer the freaking question.
Just throw it out there, man.
And the number of people, Democrats have lost on this front. Have just lost because they are telling folks, well, how dare he ask that question about did they do anything?
I asked the question the other day and because somebody called me up and said, well, that's just completely and wholly inappropriate. And what the people ought to say, they ought to send a response to Elon Musk and say, why don't you ask my manager?
Yeah, some of them were profane. Some of them were explicit. And I'm like,
my point was this. This demonstrates the inability for a lot of career federal employees to understand what happens in the private sector. If Mary Berner, our CEO at Cumulus Broadcasting, walked into this studio right now and stood right there, and just we went to break, and she said, "Hey, Matt. Hey, Cameron. Hey, what'd you guys get done this week?" If I looked at her and said, "Why don't you go ask my manager?" my ass would be fired.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can answer this question every freaking week.
Right.
Literally, to all the people that I have to answer to, I can tell them exactly what I did, how it moved the ball forward. Like, I think like that. We need to.
And even if you can't, it demonstrates a willingness to work to make it up.
It could also be, I was on vacation. It does, but like to just say, I
refuse.
No, you have to respond.
Well, and what it does, it self-identifies the people that need to go, is what it does.
Yeah.
We need to go. It's 51 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Streaming 24/7 on the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
You know what that is? That is the time ticking away on the Glock Store's big month-long February deal. That's right. It's the 26th, friends, and before you know it, it will be February 28th. And I know it sneaks up on you, but it's not a leap year, is it? I don't think it is. No, it's not a leap year. That means that the 28th is the final day that you can get the 2-for-1 special at the one and only Glock Store. That's 2 shooters for the price of 1. Book it at shoot270.com by mentioning my name, Matt Murphy. All February long, the place to train is the Glock Store. Now, you if you've never been to the Glock Store, if you've never been to the Shoot 270 rooms, it's a different experience, right? Because you get a private a room, you get a personal instructor, a professional that will tailor the experience to you and your shooting level and the shooting level of your significant other, your partner. Because, once again, 2 for the price of 1. Just show up, mention my name, Matt Murphy, but you got to do it before the end of February. That's right. Tick-tock, it's ticking right now. Go to shoot270.com for more information or glockstore.com or simply stop by. They're minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. I like to say they're the one and only, the Glock Store.